provisions of this act, the Frankfort Township Board of Education has caused advance notice of this meeting and general agenda to be submitted for publishing in the official newspapers as well as district and municipal offices on May 19th, 2025. This meeting may be recorded for subsequent public broadcast. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Jesse Vaughn.
Here.
John Tiger.
Here.
Charlene Molnar.
Here.
Chelsea Stoll's absent. Chris Dexter.
Here.
Jamie Armando.
Here.
Kathleen App. Here. Caitlin Figurs absent. Mandy Jost here. Okay, so our first line of business is we have a delegate appointment, two of them, both going to Kathleen Adam for the New Jersey School Boards Association and Sussex County School Boards Association. Congratulations, Kate.
Thank you.
Kate also, Kate attended the Sussex County.
So
your town.
So I did
the
both.
state.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a really quick recap. So I went to the county meeting earlier in the month. I don't even remember what the date was now.
10/6.
But, the 6th, yeah, October 6th. And we heard some updates. We saw that Green Township and Kittatinny both received their board certification from NJSBA, which was pretty exciting for them. We got some other updates, and then the main focus of the program was about cell phone policies and cell phones. It was presented by some staff members from a district that I think it was Sparta. I think they were from Sparta. So it was navigating emerging policy issues, AI, cell phones. There was a big emphasis on cell phones and AI. And apparently they mentioned, because I wrote down some notes saying that the governor, I think, is offering grants for cell phone policies, so something to look into, bell-to-bell policy. So if we wanted to look into, I don't know if we really have cell phone issues here, but if we were to look into like pockets or ways to lock them up, that there are grants available.
So we looked at that, so based on it's middle school, so they allot money for 6th through 12th grade.
Okay.
And I think $500 the minimum, and I think we were awarded $623.
Perfect.
But it's for just like the storage containers.
Yeah.
So with that, we kind of felt it might be premature, we wanted to discuss with the staff, the parents, what would the parent feedback be because we know there's, and talking with the staff, the SCIP team, they said that luckily, cell phones, knock on wood, aren't really a big issue or a problem here. But potentially, if it became a problem, down the road, it might be worth exploring.
Yeah, so just something that we was discussed and we all learned about and talked about. And I brought two of the agendas and items from that, so when you go on these nights, you get one of these, and this is what we follow along, just so that you guys can see and hopefully maybe consider going to one. The next one is in December somewhere, Kittatinny High School maybe, I don't recall. Then last week I went to workshop in Atlantic City for 2 nights and attended a lot of different conferences or sessions. I attended, reimagining the school cafeteria to reduce waste, which we were just talking about pre-meeting. So, and I was able to get some information from Sustainable New Jersey on possibly ways that we could look at that. All means all, strengthening connections with inclusive engagement and communication. We belong at the table, using your voice to impact policy and legislation. Future ready districts, AI, learning management systems, and the path ahead. Engaging and celebrating multilingual learners and their families, helping schools thrive, Girl Scout Advantage, students exercising their free speech. I attended one of the keynote speakers, which was the commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Education, and I attended another session that was, what was it called? I wrote the title wrong here. It was something like school furniture impacting student engagement and learning. So those were all the different sessions that I was able to attend in those 2.5 days, or 2 days, and I was able to get 2.75 units for the board member academy. And I actually had a really good time, and I think that if anyone is even considering going in the future or next year to go, I think I will definitely go again. You're able to mingle with a lot of other board members from around the state and around the county. I was in multiple workshops with board members from our county, and I was able to see work with like Wayne Dunn from High Point and some of the High Point Board of Ed members, so I do recommend if anyone has any interest. They give away a lot of freebies, so I grabbed some freebies for our staff members. Some posters and little cards and stuff, so lots of like little feel-good posters that I brought back that I thought maybe you guys could throw in the office and offer to the staff members if they want. All just like free stuff. So that's kind of my spiel.
Very nice.
Thank you for attending those.
No problem.
Next up, we have a student council update from Mr. Tucker Howe.
Hi, my name is Tucker Howe, and I'm the president of student council for the 2025 to 2026 school year. Our vice president is Abby Simons, our secretary is Carter Bambera, and our treasurer is Cooper Okeson. This year we have many activities planned for our school. We had our first pep rally of the school year on October 8th. We celebrated our field hockey team as well as our soccer team. We hosted a Halloween themed dance and it was such a fun event. We had approximately 60 students that attended. Students came dressed in creative costumes and we handed out prizes for some of the most outstanding works. Our next project will be to host a school-wide food drive. This is one of our most successful projects. Our students love giving back to the community. Thank you and hope you all have a good night.
Thank you, Tucker. Great job. Bye, Tucker. All right, next up,
Yes.
we have the superintendent and principals section. So Mr. Newman, you're up.
All right, so just a quick reminder, this Friday's Halloween, with our early dismissal that was voted on last board meeting. So we're gonna start the parade at 12 o'clock sharp. Looking forward to that. We're looking at the weather. It looks like Thursday might be a washout, but fingers crossed that Friday looks like the current forecast is gonna hold off. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to do the parade around the building. If we do have to, due to weather, that'll be inside, but we're gonna do everything possible to make it happen outside. So that's the goal here. We have the upcoming Veterans Day ceremony, so we're going to do that on November 12th. Of course, Veterans Day is on the 11th. We had our first annual ceremony last year. The hope with doing it on the 12th is that we'll actually be able to get more veterans, because a lot of the veterans actually are doing things on Veterans Day. Another reason for that is the band was not available that day. They have an upcoming event on the 11th, so that way we'll be able to get hopefully more veterans, and the band will be able to, and chorus will be able to contribute to that ceremony. So that's from 9:15 to 10 o'clock. If Mr. Sylvester wants to touch on Community Day, we had our first meeting recently.
So we did. We are bringing back Community Day for the 75th anniversary of Frankfort Township School. It is going to run or coincide with Mr. R's car show fundraiser that he started back up last year. That was a huge success. We had a number of community members attend the meeting and had some really good ideas. Just to give you an idea of what we're thinking about here, like I said, we have Mr. R's car show. We're gonna have food trucks, we're gonna have local vendors, we will have bounce houses. We're hoping to reach out to the towns for their fire trucks, so we could have kind of like a little touch-a-truck activity for our kids. We had a member who was there from Atlantic Health that's gonna seek in trying to bring the Atlantic Health helicopter and land it down on that on the soccer field. Sorry, Mrs. Eckert, for the field hockey field. We had. Maybe it'll push some dirt into those groundhog holes. But we had a lot of good info and feedback and really started a conversation. Our next meeting is November 19th at 5 p.m. If you're interested in participating in that, you can just shoot me an email and I'll send you an invite. You can meet via Google Meet through the invitation that I send. We had 2 members who were there over what we would call Zoom, and then we had 4 other members who were there participating in the live discussion. November 19th is at 5 p.m. because we thought we would tie it into conferences. 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. we'll have the meeting and then you can roll right into your conference. And really the next stage, the next part of the meeting is gonna be, all right, what contacts have we gathered? Who have you contacted? We're gonna be reaching out to the towns as well to set up any type of advertisements. We'll make up a flyer, and if any local bulletins or news outlets you guys can send it to, that'd be much appreciated. And that day will be May 15th from 4 to 9 p.m. here at Frankfurt.
In celebration of the 75th anniversary of Frankfurt Township School.
Yes.
That has a septic just as old.
We're working.
Things are working. Right, Brian?
Yes,
Is that the theme? The tagline? Listen, we don't make them like they used to. Work on it.
I'll have a few more things to add, and then we got to the appropriate sections, but do you guys wanna do the NJSLA results?
Sure. Alright.
Roll into that.
Yeah, I got a clicker. You want us to stand or? Sure. So we have our scores from the 2024-2025 NJSLA. And just some key points that we would like to talk about that we are gonna be focusing on this year so that we can improve our scores, or hopefully improve our scores as we move throughout the year. As many of you may know, if you are in the educational field, we have implemented the universal screeners for K-3 for foundational literacy. The state this year came out and mandated that any K-3 student must be given a universal screener for phonemic awareness, fluency, and
Letter naming.
and
What was
letter
the
naming.
first thing?
Phonemic awareness, like letter sounds.
Yeah.
And so we have been in the process of implementing that. I believe our staff said that they're gonna be discussing it at conferences with families when they come in.
Yes,
Um,
cause the kindergarten one might be a little shocking, I don't know,
But they're
Dr.
in
Neal, if you wanna, yeah,
Yeah, that is.
yeah, because obviously kindergartners coming in, they don't have much knowledge or background based on the standards, so, right, when it's tested 2 times a year, the other one happens in January, and that's where you really see the growth, but the state's requiring this, to get that data, that baseline data.
But any data is good data, so having or setting up that universal screener helps us better see where our students are, specifically, for example, our kindergartners. Where are they coming in, what do they need to know, where are their gaps, so that we can address them as quick as possible. We're continuing K-2 vertical articulation of foundational reading skills.
Just more out of that, universal screener and information that we're finding, making sure that our kindergartners have those foundational skills moving into first grade.
We are continuing, or this year, we implemented, thanks to Dr. Mealy, 7th through 10th grade vertical articulation of ELA skills. And yes, 10th grade, I'll let you go.
Yeah, so we met as, the October in-service, as you know, we had teachers from the region meet with High Point teachers, and this will be, we're gonna continue with a part 2 and a part 3 across the content areas. This way we're getting that vertical articulation, specifically for ELA skills, and then taking it down into when we come back and team being able to discuss what was happening and what can we bring back down to create a nice, smooth transition into High Point.
The next bullet point is interesting, stamina building. We are gonna be focusing on building our students' stamina. Matt Storch and myself have been kind of diving into our state test scores via an AI data point. We have been uploading our state test scores into AI systems to see if they can find any type of correlations between time on task, meaning how long are the students taking on the test and how does that correlate to their scores? And is there a correlation between home life and so on and so forth, just so we can get some sort of data point. And I gotta tell you what, it was really eye-opening, and it was really good to see because, you know, how many times what are we doing to fix this, what are we doing to fix this, what are we doing to fix this? And we're not really getting down to the root of the problem which is for a lot of our kids, taking a 2-hour test is tough, you know what I mean, especially for an 11-year-old. And what we're finding and what we saw is just that, is there is a dramatic increase in the percentage of students who are proficient or are meeting or exceeding that proficiency if simply, I think it was 90 minutes or less,
Yep.
you were something like 90% less likely to be proficient. But if you spent anywhere from 90 to 120 minutes, you were something like 75% more likely to be proficient. So literally, if we could just focus our students to have 5 more minutes per unit of factual, functional brain activity, you're seeing this dramatic increase. And what we also were seeing is where we are placing our units, right? So one of the biggest things, and we'll talk to it when we get to science, but I'll mention it now, is we put science at the very end. It's only for our 5th and 8th graders. We stack it at the end of a very busy 2 weeks. And what we found, or what the AI bot, Claude, whatever you want to call them, our helpful friend found, was that there was something like an 80% drop off in student test scores in our science unit, and it correlates to those last units of 3 and 4, where they did fine in units 1 and 2, but then unit 3 and 4, they literally, it's like it fell off a cliff. And you wonder, if you look at that time on task, they just got, from what it looks like they just got tired and went, I'm done, I don't really care anymore, this is the last of the last test, I'm over it, and just started clicking. And we just see this dramatic drop off. And it was really eye-opening. So once we get back into January, we're gonna be, as an admin team, looking at how we can disperse our testing schedule across the month to where, while we may have a whole month of May for testing, our students won't be ripping a Band-Aid off, so to speak, and cramming and crushing and getting crushed in that short 2-week window. So we're gonna be looking at that, and then we're also going to be looking at, how can we build that stamina in our students to, unfortunately, sit down for that grueling 90-minute test and be successful at it, because those are all things that build and all take time.
Right now,
That's in 5th and 8th grade.
The science one.
Science, but ELA and
Chris,
math
that's what
as
you and I
well.
were talking to, talking about.
yeah, ELA math always 3 to 8.
Yeah.
How do we increase most of the time on task of students in a class is about 15 or 20 minutes before they move to something else. So how can we begin to build that stamina a little bit more so they can have that? So it'll be a daily routine as we build it into and move from 15 minutes to 20 to 22 to 25 and see if we can build some of that attention to.
We've also continued our interdisciplinary team meetings to support vertical articulation. This is something that we started last year, where we got our ELA, our math, our science, and our social studies teachers together in one room to talk content and curriculum. We found that there was a disconnect, right? Our ELA teams met and they were great, and sometimes they met and were great with our social studies teachers, but there was really no cross-curricular discussion specifically in the fields of science, where we are now seeing that our students have to more or less write race essays, but in a science standpoint. And our science teachers, they're science teachers, they're not English teachers, they're not social studies teachers. So that was kind of foreign to them, so we're continuing to work with them there. We will review our student performance as we have been, whether it be via AI or us sitting down and looking at it. We look at our MobiMax, we look at IXL, just to see where we are and to make sure that we are continuing on the right path.
And then I'll continue to work with these vertical articulations, just to make sure every teacher understands how standards grow from grade 1 to grade 2 and grade 2 to grade 3, and what are those expectations all the way through in the English, language arts, math, and science.
And then you have our math.
Yep.
Our math is very similar to our ELA. It's really, again, that vertical articulation between 7th to 10th grade, I think, is really crucial here, specifically in math, so that we can get those fluency skills built. And that means just our students' ability to do kind of quick mental math and work through easy solutions to get to tougher problems. We're going to be focusing on stamina building, like we said. The interdisciplinary team meetings, we're continuing them, reviewing our student performance in MobiMax and IXL. Our continued review of our student performance from an admin team, and then ongoing throughout the year, curriculum coordinator reviewing and revising our standards. Science, again, kind of more of the same, right? While yes, we have this delineated by topic, it's all coming to the same goal, right? How do we improve student achievement? How do we improve student scores? And we feel really kind of focusing on those bullet points that we've went through at length already is what's gonna get us there. We're gonna continue our summer enrichment program as we do. RTI is still running throughout the school day with our small groups of students. Year 3 of SIPS, we're training additional staff in OG. That was something that we looked at last year. We got our special ed staff certified in OG over the summer. I believe this year we're talking
What
about.
is OG?
Or in Gillingham, sorry.
So it's like, have you heard of like
Yeah.
Wilson? Like it's one of these specific like phonemic awareness like tools, so.
Like one of their reading programs.
Right,
I
so
think.
Yeah.
Wilson and Gordon Gillingham are the two of the most well-known ones.
Yeah.
Foundations and then-
Yeah. If you, across the board, across the state, everybody is getting OG Wilson certified, trained, because it really is helping dramatically with students' comprehension and reading ability. So we're looking to get our kindergarten and first grade staff maybe this summer.
So we got special
Look at the
education
budget,
and our
obviously.
third grade team certified this year. It's not cheap, unfortunately, so it's about $1,200.
Staff.
It's an intensive week-long training over the summer that they physically go to. So the staff members have to be able to commit to that. Obviously, the district covers it, but it's definitely a great investment, well worth it.
And I would say from a K-1 standpoint, it would be dramatically impressive, just because we would be setting up our students for massive success
Right.
moving into their second and third grade, fourth grade years. They'd be light years ahead. We're continuing period 10 with more or less, if you guys don't know what that is, it's consider our homework club, our extra help club. It's great, that's up and running this year already, and students involved in working on it.
What grades are that? Middle school.
Middle school.
It is middle school.
Yeah.
And then the last one is we'll look at our small group instruction, going back to that data we're gathering from MobiMax and iExcel, and looking at the NJSLA data and saying, well, how are we actually using our small groups to make sure we're targeting the gaps of students who are there? So we'll take a look at those as well.
So the RTI pulls out of the class, but like, I know 6th grade math, like there's an RTI teacher in there with Mrs. Daly, like, how does that look throughout the middle school?
We have a RTI teacher in the middle school who pulls out for math during her periods during the course of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the same lady?
It's
Oh, it's a
so
different lady.
Mrs. Fabrez is our RTI coordinator teacher in the middle school, and if a student is identified and followed the TSS process, we work with them throughout their schedule to find a common period in which Mrs. Senora Fabrez can pull that student and address their math or ELA needs, and that's a pull-out service. It's not a push-in.
And that's one-on-one, or that can be like a
Yep,
small
well,
group?
It's a small group,
Small
it
group.
depends, sometimes it really depends on the needs of students, so sometimes it's one-on-one, sometimes it's 3 or 4.
So.
I'm not laughing at the RTI at all.
Okay. We are gonna continue to analyze this time on task relationship to student performance on the NJSLA and the benchmarks. As, you know, like I said, the data was pretty impressive to see that we could potentially hone in on something that, you know, while everybody knows it's a problem, right? You just gotta get these kids to take this test and it'll be fine. They know the material that they're rushing through it, so on and so forth. We all know that's happening from an educational standpoint, but to see it as a data point was really kind of hard hitting. Leads us into a committee discussion on spring testing window. Like I said, we here for years have kind of been under the guise of rip the Band-Aid off and get it done in 2 weeks. And what the data is showing is that might not necessarily be the best course of action.
That analyze time on task in
Mhm.
relationship to student performance.
Yep.
Remember Mr. Mooney would tell us like spiral
Yeah.
back, like is that the time on task thing, or that's like
That's a stat.
remembering what you used, you know, like,
It's a good question. So when Mr. Mooney talked about spiraling back, he meant that teachers were revisiting content, that if it's January, maybe they were revisiting content that they learned in September per se. or the year prior. When we're talking about time and task, we're saying when you sit down to take a 60 or a 90 or 120-minute assessment, it's the number of seconds or minutes students are spending on a particular question. And what we're finding is that time that they're spending is not giving them the ability to score as high as they could. So how do we get them to spend more time?
So if you're clicking quick, it's either like, oh, I'm 100% sure I know this, or let's get done with this, let's get done with
Correct.
this,
Or I
like,
don't know,
yeah,
and I can't go back.
yeah,
Like
Maybe they're
Scantron, we used to be
misreading.
able to go back,
right,
we can't go back,
Yeah, once the unit's over, it's over.
it's over,
Right.
yeah, so.
Why don't we just try to give them book and paper again, instead of going through everything?
Gotta go to the state for that one.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
We've
Yeah.
been trying to battle that one for a while.
So here we have our ELA scores. And we'll go over this.
We'll
Yeah.
get more finite detail inside of these, but it shows over the not meeting level 1 to exceeding expectations for English language arts. And we have them broken down in later slides, so you can
Yep.
just see our meeting to and exceeding compared to the
So-
state.
Don't try to look at this.
Yeah, this is a lot, there's a lot, we can share this with you if you want,
Yeah.
but it's a lot.
Here's our math scores. And here's our science scores. We have fewer than 10 students in these subgroups and thus cannot report on this data. So the state also likes to see that you've broken down your testing per subgroup, whether that's economically disadvantaged, so on and so forth, things of that nature. We don't meet the criteria within that, so we don't necessarily have to report on those groups, even though the data is collected. So, our current 9th graders, so our 8th graders from last year. As you can see here, 63% of them were proficient in ELA and math, which is tremendous. I mean, you can see the growth here, right, from 2024 to 2025. We saw a significant uptick. That's awesome. That's what we like to see. In math, 25% of our students were proficient.
how many
met
questions
or
do they have to
exceeded.
get right to be proficient? Or like, what's the threshold there?
So it's just a score,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think it's like above 750.
Yeah.
Like, while I feel like 63, like that looks great, but like, what happened to those other? The balance of
They
them?
would fall into, if you go back here, right? So they would fall into one of these categories. Level 1% not meeting expectations, partially meeting expectations, approaching expectations, meeting and exceeding. So that 60% that you see is these two
Those two.
categories.
Correct.
That means the 40% that aren't in there fell within these three categories. And between these three,
63% really good? Or
Yeah.
like, where's that other,
Believe it or
We'll
not.
get there.
yes.
Well, wait
37%.
till you see when we compare
Okay.
our scores to the state.
just asking?
Yeah. And it's your question about how are points generated is very complicated because on each of the assessments, the questions vary in points depending on the complexity of the question. So each question type has a different percentage type.
Brings you to the next, and
Yes.
it gets harder
And if you
and
get
harder.
part 1 wrong, you might not get part 2
Right.
right. Sometimes you can get it. It's not an easy. I can
Right, right.
I can certainly
No,
pick it
it's
up
all
one
right,
day.
I believe you. I
got
just was
it.
wondering, I'm like, I think it's great that we're showing an increase, I just was like, wow, what happened to those other 37%?
so our 8th grade math students were at 25% met or exceeded. Our algebra students were at 82%, so that would be what we consider our 8th grade honors class. And then our science for 8th grade was 11%. And again, I just want to reiterate that time on task piece. That's where we really saw that cliff I was talking about. They were doing fine in units 1 and 2, and it seemed like our 8th graders last year were like, I'm done, it's 8th grade, it's May, I'm walking out the door, I've been doing this for 2 weeks, and it went boop, 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 boop. I'm gonna put C down the board, and this cliff.
In 5th grade too?
Nope, in 5th grade we didn't see that. Well, we saw it in units 3 and 4, but we didn't see it as dramatically.
significant.
Could it be what the units were though?
According to the analysis, the questions that they answered, that they spent time on, they got correct. So that would indicate that they were just clicking. And if they had any idea they answered it correct and moved on, and then they would read it and be like, I don't know, so they would just click and go. Instead of sitting, thinking,
Concentrating.
trying to
Right, no
process.
critical, right, no thinking.
Let me see if I can go
process.
back, break it down, so on and so forth.
So you actually, the data showed how much time each student spent on things. You get that kind of data.
I'm blaming social media and the quick reels.
just gonna say
That's my, and I'll tell you,
Yeah.
my attention span too on those reels.
Everybody's.
Like, I'm like, yep, you're talking too much. I mean, Darby will say, and she's in second grade, she's like, that person's yapping. And I'm like, yep, but even on Disney Hits on Sirius Radio, like they do like tunes for the tune or something, and the people like say why they're picking this song to play next, and Darby can't stand it. She's like, I'm done, so like, why are they talking so much? Like, just stop yapping, just get to the song. Like, so her attention span, I find, is minimal, and she's 7.
And I
You
think
know?
we're critical thinking these
Right?
days is just not,
100%.
it's like a learned helplessness that I feel like you're seeing like across the nation, and the critical thinking is just
Yeah,
like
so
no
we
one
need
has
to
patience
figure
for
out-
it.
I think it's easy to ask too for help.
Exactly.
So a lot of kids are just saying, I can't, so they're getting help either from a peer or a teacher or wherever, rather than actually taking that time to persevere and read word for word, what does it mean, how does it, what does it mean, and actually understand the content, I think, yes.
Yeah, parents
And
too,
that's
right?
what we have to
Parents are
work.
busy and they wanna get moving or whatever, somebody, their kid asks them like, hey, can you do this or that for me? Like, okay, let's go, like,
Yeah.
so I think it's like,
Or you'll read the newsletter Victoria sends out,
right.
everybody reads that, right?
I read
Oh,
it,
yeah.
I read it every week.
I read it.
I read it every week.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
You don't read the
one of those
Bulletin
things.
Bulldog? I do. Somebody on Facebook today just wrote it, maybe I should look at the Bulletin Bulldog,
Yes,
you
you
know.
should.
It's all in there. Just gotta
You don't.
spend 2 minutes.
Yeah. You
So-
easily skip over the stuff you don't wanna see.
The class of 2026 are our current 8th graders this year. 82% in ELA, 54% in
So I
math.
like that.
Our current 7th graders, 78% in ELA, 32% in math. Our current 6th graders, last year's 5th, 53% in ELA.
Why are we so low in math?
It's this, you'll see.
Closest.
Okay.
53% in ELA, 31% in math, and 30% in science. Our last year's 4th graders, 49% in ELA and 55% in math. And then last year's 3rd graders, this year's 4th, 49% in ELA and 44% in math. So if you look at this as a comparison to the state of New Jersey, Frankfurt in math was 44%, New Jersey was 48%.
That's grade 3.
3rd grade, yeah.
What did I say?
You just said in New Jersey.
I'm
Sorry.
glad you said
Yeah,
that.
yeah, or
Yeah,
math,
yeah.
math, New Jersey
You're
math, yeah, just grade 3 math, yeah.
49% for Frankfurt, 43% for a grade 3 in New Jersey.
3 or 4.
Grade 3 ELA.
Grade 4.
From last year, so they're grade 4 this year,
Correct.
grade 5 this
Yeah.
year.
Grade 4 for math, Frankfurt's at 55%, New Jersey's at 46%.
Great.
That 3rd grade, we had new 3rd grade staff members last year, both of them were brand new. So working out and figuring out the curriculum and working out who they are as a team and so on and so forth. You do tend to see a dip if you do have new staff members working with new curriculum, and that will get stronger as the years progress because they just get more familiar with the curriculum itself. Like I said, 4th grade math, 55 to 46. ELA, 49 to 51. Again, 2% is,
I know, I wanna bring the kids who are approaching, but
yeah.
we're close.
Grade 5 math, 31% to 40%. And then grade 5 ELA, 53% to 52. Grade 5 science, 30 compared to 27.
Should we like expect more though than just the New Jersey average? Like, shouldn't we want more than like this 27%?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course, without a doubt.
And we're only at 30, so shouldn't we expect more out of
Where are those other
what we're getting?
70% of our students? Like, I know that they're in the not yet proficient, like working towards it. What are we doing to help them to achieve a proficiency? Like, that's where I'm getting
Like, are we
concerned
just
at
gonna
these
be
numbers,
happy
like,
that
and
we're-
maybe I'm not thinking of the numbers correctly, but it seems really alarming
Yeah.
to be at only 30% of our 6th graders proficient in science. And I will tell you, when I got at back to school night, when I got the standardized testing, like my daughter's was so low. I was like, what happened here? Like her math and ELA are fine, but her science, and I'm listening to the drop off and the whatever, and like I just, while it's great that we're higher than the New Jersey average, like, is there a school that's at 90%? And what are they doing? Or like, how does this all work? And I'm not in the education field, so excuse me if I
But
sound.
New Jersey also dropped its percentages. So like today's A was yesterday's C. So we might wanna keep that in mind too, that
Yeah, my kids came home with their grades and I saw a grade and they're like, oh, but that's a C. I'm like, no, that was borderline F. No, I'm telling you, that's a C. I'm like, no. Sure enough,
So I think it's a combination of
It's a
things. So,
Jessica, what do you mean by that? Cause our
back,
I can't figure out, to be honest, on that
50 to
concur.
59 is an F,
Or encore.
60
back when like we had grades, like
93
a
to
60,
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
had the 70.
Yeah,
Right
there
at a
wasn't,
70.
it was intended, it
Like a
was
69 was an F back then. I was
Yeah, yeah, me
68 was
too.
failed.
He had a 70 and I
Yes.
think he said it's a C.
mhm.
So is it
100%.
Or maybe
really a
C
C?
minus.
Yeah.
should be a D, right?
That's statewide.
It's new right now.
I guess I don't like understand either on the OnCourse app, like
But after-
looking at grades, like the percentage value, like that never adds up to 100. It's always like some weird number, and I'm like, this thing is worth 35%, but that's worth 20%, but that's worth 15%. Like I don't know how those grades even happen. Like honestly,
So there's different categories. One might be classwork, one might be homework, one might be like assessments. And then like,
right? But I mean,
so like
it's just
assessments
so
might be
weird.
worth more than like the homework or the classwork, so it's kind of like how
Yeah.
the teachers set up their grade.
So I mean, I guess back to my original question, like what are we doing to raise
Get that
that
number
number? Like,
Yeah.
and I realize you have the data and that they need to like
their stamina.
increase their stamina. I get that. Like that sounds like a good plan to me, but like
Right. And-
what are we doing
Right.
here? This
So-
just doesn't resonate with me as like a numbers person that we're
Right, so unfortunately, like,
celebrating.
in the state of New Jersey, the majority of districts.
We're not
for-
celebrating,
for
okay,
QSAC.
cause I don't.
Right. So NJQSAC, right, every school gets monitored 3 times, or once every 3 years. In Sussex and Warren County, and across the state, 70% of the schools did not pass curriculum and instruction, so and basically out of 100 points, 60 are controlled by that assessment. So even if you get 40 out of 40, which we did, the points that we can control, right? Just the way that they calculate the assessment is generated, right, hurts so many schools and they couldn't
Right.
pass curriculum and instruction.
What year was that?
What's that?
What year was that?
So that was 2 years ago,
When
right?
Mr. Mooney
And
was
then
here, we had CUSAC.
next school
Yeah.
year is our QSAC review, our next one. You also have to remember too that there's no more Pearson NJSLA. So the new assessment is going to be by Cambium. So it's a totally new company. They've moved on from Pearson. Their 5-year contracts, expired. So now they're going to have a whole different assessment, to take. So hopefully it's more on target, on point. And of course we have our field test coming up in November that doesn't translate to any of this. It doesn't give us any data, unfortunately. It's more for like the state to see the validity of the questions that they're going to be asking the kids in preparation for the spring assessment. But kind of like the first 3 slides, like this, we're kind of looking at all these things, like in collaboration with team meetings, all that stuff, like looking at this data, to prep for the next spring assessment.
So on top of that, the teachers have also, and they're in the process of doing professional development. So we had a speaker for the science standards come on these science assessments in October, and they spent the day just diving into the science assessments. There's some science PD that they're going to. We have math teachers enrolled in professional development for Conquer Math this year. So we're trying to educate teachers from here up. And then as well as when we talked about going through the data from MobiMaps and iExcel and this, is we can find and target areas that are low. So maybe we're lowest in problem solving, or maybe we're lowest in division of times 10, right? So we can start to look at those numbers now that the first marking period is over and students have taken those assessments. We can start digging into that data and identifying areas of weakness and then targeting those within those small groups. So earlier I talked about small group efficacy as well. What's happening in those small groups? Are small groups just used to put students to read a book? Not that that's a wrong thing. We need more reading, right?
Yes.
But if there's something that we can get, like if they're missing the SH sound, then let's get them to SH sound and get them in a book for SH, not just, you know, a book. So trying to target the efficacy of what we're doing for students in small groups related to the data that's coming out of the assessments and the benchmarks that we're giving to students.
And another piece about that time on task is it's a mindset shift, right? How many across not only our community but our country are we hearing like, oh, these tests don't matter, nobody likes these tests, don't give them these tests. Well, our students are hearing that, right? And they're hearing this and saying, well, if they're saying that, I don't give a crap about this, excuse my French. I don't care, I'm not gonna take it seriously. And when we get to these and everybody's like, well, what are we doing? It's like, okay, well, there's gotta be a give and a take, right? We have to change our mindset and our mind frame on this. And that's really what that time on task was showing is if we don't care as a community, our kids aren't gonna care. And they're gonna blow through it. And then we're gonna be sitting here saying, what's going on? And we really kind of have to, like I said, reframe ourselves and change our mindset.
So the state testing is good for data to kind of pinpoint where we need to spend more time or whatever. But as far as the school goes, right, are we looking also, can you use the OnCourse app to like pull and see that last year's 5th grade is meeting or exceeding expectations in ELA by their grades that are posted on OnCourse for the actual content they're learning throughout the year? Is that like an admin side of the OnCourse app to see if all of the 6th graders who are
It would be our benchmark IXL data. What you're asking is, does our IXL benchmark data correlate to what we're seeing in our state testing?
right?
And that's what we analyze as an admin team when we move throughout the year. And
Can you
All
pull from
signs
OnCourse
point
like
yes.
the grades of the students and
You're talking
and
about
see,
like trying to.
because there are all different weights, right?
Like
Like each marking period, like, hey, this is what the curriculum was in the first marking period in 6th grade ELA. They did, I guess, well compared to the state of New Jersey last year. Are their grades and the content that we're teaching in that first marking period, are they meeting or exceeding our expectations there? Or are there a number of kids that are below the 69 or whatever your grade is that you want to say is not meeting expectations? So can the OnCourse app provide that type of content data as another data point? Because I think
It
like
could.
this is all great for one day of testing, and like you said, what happened at home that morning? Like,
Yeah.
you know, did something happen at home? Did your dog die last night? I know the first time I took the SATs and I was really good at school, very academic, like I bombed the first SAT. I was at Vernon High School and I remember the marching band had practice outside and I was literally like singing along to the songs in my head. And like my mom was mad, like I paid for this test, I expected you to hit this and why do you have a 960? And I'm like, oh, well, there was distractions, right? So like anything could be happening on the day of that test, but there is content that we have each marking period of these grades coming in that the teachers spend a lot of time. I don't know, that seems like it takes a lot of
Like
time to grade the
80%.
papers and put these grades in. There has to be some way to pull it out of that app to see that marking period, this content. Am I not
80%
talking
of the
right, Mrs.
kids.
Eckert? Like, do you?
No,
Like-
I'm not sure that OnCourse could do that, and I'm sure we can look into it, but it is conversations that I know I have during curriculum meetings about how your daily grades should reflect the expectation of the grade level and shouldn't be a surprise, right? So if I'm scoring meeting expectations on the test, I should be meeting expectations on MobyMax, which means I should be scoring a 3 or an 80 on right? So we talk about that all the time, but again, like you said, it's a snapshot. Like we're giving the kids, we're a marking period, you're looking at a video, you're looking at multiple checkpoints over the course of a marking period. I mean, it's something we can see if we can look more.
And I'm not trying to add more to your plate, I'm just asking if that's an easy pull on like the admin side of OnCourse. To look at what the grades are and how they're doing and what that content is.
Yeah.
And I mean, if every kid is bombing, you know, or doing really well at this one test in math, like great, like that content was really driven home and understood. If the content was not, and there's, you know, how many times did you hear, oh, there was a curve on a test or whatever, like,
Are we moving too fast and what do we need to come back to within those, making sure they're.
And that's kind of like some of the data we get back, that scattergram that they give you, like, so it shows like, you know,
Right?
4.A, like,
Yeah.
only 20% of the kids got that, so then you hone in, like, what's 4.A, that's standard, like, you know, we analyze that and try to improve, yeah.
The other thing we did, if you remember, we took a look at the test scores, took a look at the test questions last year. Do you all remember doing that? And what they were actually like, we should pull up.
are you smarter than a fifth grader, right? Like
Yeah.
we did that, yeah.
The
We should
science
pull up
one was
the
definitely
science.
probably way harder than the one we gave you last year.
Well, science is also multiple years in one test,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Like, so
It's
the eighth grade
everything
test is
K5,
six, yeah.
And then styling, yes.
Sorry, this is probably a lot longer than you wanted to spend on this.
No, that's fine.
It's alright,
We
so-
have the same conversations. There was a time when we were at 78, 76, like, I want those numbers
That's
again.
what I
Right,
would
yeah.
But
expect.
we need to, it's,
But like part of
I'm
me
gonna
is
say
saying like,
before
I just know-
2020,
so
but I don't wanna say
Charlene,
that, you know?
Kate, me, Chris, like Brian, we
Before
all have sixth
technology.
graders, right? We're more than well aware, like their kindergarten was shut down. They were at school 2 days a week in first grade. So like maybe their foundation wasn't truly set. And like that was a big problem that I had with my own daughter, was that foundation wasn't set. And I see it still to this day. Like she likes minimal effort because then she can say I didn't try that hard if I didn't do well. And she likes minimal effort, so if she does well, she's like, I'm good at this, I'm awesome.
And
You
that's
know,
the
and so
mindset
she
shift.
has that.
And that's the mindset.
And that's the mindset shift, like
Stamina,
she's,
time on task, perspective,
Right, I
right,
just
all
was
of it, right.
dealing with a little middle
Yeah.
school, oh, that person's a tryhard. That is my least favorite phrase
a
in
try-hard, I never heard that.
middle
Yeah.
school vernacular. I can't stand it.
6'7".
You should be trying hard on everything, yes.
Everything, yeah, that's the point.
Yes, that is the point of class.
Yeah, try hard always,
You're
yeah.
making fun of me for giving effort.
Yeah.
Got it, noted.
We need to make the TikToks longer.
Sixth grade math, 32, 36. Sixth grade
That's what I
ELA,
like to see.
Go 7th grade.
78, 53 as compared to, seventh grade math, 54 to 38. Seventh grade ELA, 82 to
Nice.
55. This is that eighth grade algebra group, 82 compared to 40.
Is the algebra group a bunch of try-hards, cause that's like the honors?
Yes.
Okay, so that's,
Eighth grade math,
yeah.
25 to 20.
Not green then.
And then eighth grade ELA was 63 to 53. So, you know, we are in most, if not many categories at or above the state average. Noted, and we are, like Janine said, trying to get back up to that 70 to 80%, and that's why we're looking at, you know, we're not leaving any stone unturned. You know, that mindset shift and, you know, getting those hard data points and doing that work is to see if, okay, like we're hitting the curriculum, we're using Eureka Squared, we're doing all of these things. Maybe there's something else we're not seeing, maybe there's something else we're not trying. Let's take it from a different approach and see what happens.
When we
And that's eighth grade science.
I'm a strong believer that paper could solve a lot of this problem, because the studies I've been reading about is since we brought in these computers, the kids don't even bother to read. They don't bother to really try anymore. Like, why can't we just give them a simple test during the day? Like, hey, we're gonna do our test on paper this time, and then you guys can analyze your data off a paper test to a computer test.
State doesn't allow it.
So you can't give just a once a week math test on
Oh,
paper?
we can do
That's
that, and we
what-
do.
So then you can prove your case that, hey, this is doing better for the kids than what you're suggesting.
But this
because-
test we cannot. Those.
The
No, but
state
this
has
test
tests,
too,
yeah.
you know, they alter it. Like, this year, I think they're, giving the practices out to modify the tests for the kids when the real test comes up, so it'll be easier for kids that struggle.
Yeah, the adaptive.
Yeah,
That's like the new, like, yeah, it's supposed to be adaptive.
yeah, yep, and that's a new thing, so I mean,
What happened to the people that didn't participate in these assessments? Who are those?
So.
Are they part of the,
Absent? They're absent?
are they part of the?
Could be.
They're considered.
You get the occasional opt-out, or it's called refusal, there's no such thing as opting out, it's called a refusal, a parent refusal.
You just write a letter?
But the problem is, the district gets dinged if, certain percentage don't participate.
I mean, I'm not writing a letter, but
Right.
I'm just asking, like,
Yeah,
how do you?
because that's something we promote.
They're just all summary testing days.
Yeah. Right.
Just don't send them in that day.
Could be.
Or send an email saying they're not gonna take it.
because these tests are only good for the school's report card.
Right,
You
it
know?
goes into the school report card, it also triggers funding.
That's, so it really, I mean, the kid could fail every single test and still live the kid's normal life, even going into high school. The only affected thing is the school out of these bad test grades. So why wouldn't we wanna try different things? I mean, I praise you guys and congratulate you guys, but I feel like we're following technology down the wrong rabbit hole. And it's not doing great, we've been doing it for 4 years now.
The cards we've been dealt, unfortunately, John, and there's no paper version.
And John, I will
No,
tell
I
you,
got
like
it.
in corporate
Doesn't make
America, like it's the same, like, I mean, my company is like AI.
Well, that's the
and I'm
problem,
like,
everybody sat
"Ugh."
back and said, hey,
They
let's do
really are.
it, this
They're
is
promoting
great, keep
it in
doing it,
corporate
and
America.
everybody feared to say something, so, and anybody that would say something was immediately torn down.
Yeah,
No,
I don't- I don't know if
I've
you're
read
still
those studies too, though.
on the email list, are you still on the email list here, John? I know you don't, your son graduated, right?
I don't know,
Like,
I don't do.
There was an email sent out about an AI app that the kids know about. My daughter
Yeah.
got denied from getting it, but she still found a way to, you know, have a friend help her out. You know, kind of thing, so like those AI apps that are generating work, like it's a
They're even generated
huge
to
fight.
give you an answer that they wanna give you. It could be the completely wrong answer, but if it fits the scenario of what could be right in the public's eyes, they'll give you
Right.
that right answer,
Yeah.
even with it being wrong.
But thank you for this presentation and for forging ahead and really trying to, you know, find these data points that do help the students so that we can get back up into those 70s. Like I feel like that's an achievable goal, and I feel like you guys are.
Are there districts
On
that
top.
are in the 70s and the, like how, what percentage? So in reality, like when I look at these numbers, it tells me that like maybe the test is just extremely difficult or like too hard, right? Like it's like.
Hence why
you
nobody
curve,
assesses a
right?
warrant
Like-
passed the curriculum instruction during NJQSAC.
Right,
So I think it was just,
Right.
it was a collection of things,
yeah,
right?
like sometimes you just
The
go wrong with the test.
pandemic, right? The kids
Right,
didn't test
right.
for 2 years, they didn't have that good foundation, that good base. Maybe not, the state not realizing that kids weren't where they were pre-pandemic, but they didn't adjust the standards, so they're still being held to the same criteria. But in the end, New Jersey's always top 3, if not top 5, or number 1 in the nation.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So,
for education.
You gotta like factor
Yes.
all those things in, that New Jersey is, I think we're currently number 1. So it
So
stinks
long
that this
as
is telling you
we're-
that like you're not doing good, we're not doing good, like failing, but we're still
I
a
see that,
state,
that New Jersey
Yeah.
is always, I
So-
look at that, yeah. Which is great.
which,
Well, we wanna be
man.
better.
yeah, we wanna be better, 100%.
Anything
Always
else
looking to
we can
grow.
answer?
No, but thank you for putting it together.
Yeah, we still have a lot to go.
Yeah. But I know,
Right.
Mr. Bansimer is here, I asked a question and I didn't know that it was gonna take, you know, this much time of Mr. Bansimer's life.
Oh, that's fine.
I just
That's
asked, I just, you know, 3 kids.
Wrestling practice.
Cheerleading starts next.
Yep.
I just was wondering how your shared time with High Point, how you feel that's going so far, just kind of like a check-in.
We do that now?
Yeah.
No, it's been going good. I've been doing it for about 4 months now. In those 4 months, I've figured out my time management. Frankfurt does have more day-to-day needs than High Point does, which I knew about going into, because I do a lot of maintenance down here. So, you know, I start here at 6:30 in the morning, open the building up. That's from 6:30 to 8 is when I do a lot of my preventive maintenance around the building. And then we get the building open up, kids start coming in, and then around 11 o'clock is when I shoot up to High Point. Finish up my day up there, but in the meantime, like when I'm down here at Frankfurt, I take care of a lot of emails. Up at High Point, I can do a lot through emails and phones, which is great. Again, they have a bigger department up there, so it provides I can stay down here and be here when I need. And whatever goes on down here, I can be here. Like I know we do our security drills. Like Friday, I was here all day. We had an issue with the boiler, you know, but all day I was able to take care of stuff at High Point.
I enjoy it. It's a lot of work, not gonna lie, but it's definitely working out well. I met with the superintendent and their board of ed the last couple weeks ago on their committees and discussed everything. And they're very happy with it. I got positive
Okay.
feedback from Chris and Kevin and David, and time management's key, and I find myself finding out how to do that and
Prioritize.
prioritizing
Right.
exactly what it is. And I enjoy it. It's a lot of work, but it helps out everyone at the end of the day, and I'm willing to keep doing it as long as I can.
Alright, great.
So
Thank you, Brian.
No.
You don't have to stay.
that's it. I don't want to be that guy.
Tucker walked right out.
Can I go? And Dr. Miller, your shared time with Montague is going okay?
Yeah, I've been trying to get up there at least once a week just to meet with them and.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Moving right
feel
along.
okay with your workload as well?
Yeah.
Just wanted to check in. That's it.
Don't ask me that in the middle of the day when I'm in the midst of it all.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I've had about 2
Montague's
hours
calling
to
and
let it
you're
go.
Like, is 30% good enough? Okay, do we have to go over the McKinney-Vento thing, or is that?
No.
We're just getting that, okay. Motion to open public comment.
Second.
Anybody have a public comment? Mrs. Eckert? Speechless.
You look like you wanna say something.
Ah, all
I
right.
have a comment, sure.
Okay.
Maybe instead of just bowing to all these mandates all the time, we are municipally funded. The state gives you how much money? Frankfurt Township's giving you 11 million, you're bending over backwards for the state mandates. It just puts us in a deeper and deeper hole, that's the biggest issue with this. We pay the bill, they force it down our throat, and it's not right. It's time to start pushing back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Motion to close.
Oh, Mrs. Eckert was starting then.
Sorry.
No, I have a
Did
lot
not.
to say on the scores and all that, but it's probably not the right setting and time, so I will meet privately with whoever would like to
Gonna
meet.
bite your tongue?
Over 38 years of what I saw different over the years, that's all. And a lot has to do with
State mandates.
Nate, a lot has to do with just what Mr. Sylvester was mentioning, the attitudes of the kids. They don't care, the parents, well, not you parents, but some parents don't care, and they don't put any effort into it. There's no homework anymore, the kids go, like, it's totally different than when well, I'm a lot older than all of you. So it's a lot different, it was, it just has changed, and I think one of the things that I like with math, and I've done a program every year, it's a simple thing in 5th grade, multiplying how much cigarettes cost, and now it's vapes, multiply it by 7, multiply it by how many weeks in a year, a lot of them don't know there's 52 weeks in a year. A lot of them, then when you say to multiply it, way back when I first started, they could all multiply, say $10 times 52, or whatever, what, it's $70. 7 times, say a vape costs $10, I don't even know what we do, what it would cost, but say it was $10 times 7 in a week, that's $70 times 52 weeks. The last couple of years, they can't do it. And I know we have excellent math teachers, and I say to them, why, I don't get this, years ago, they could do it, why can't they? And they'll say to me, well, how did you show them how to do it? And I'll say, I took 52 on the board times 70, yeah, they might not know how to do that. And I'm like, what, in 5th grade? So I think, and it's not their fault, because they're excellent math teachers, the curriculum sometimes is showing them 5 different ways to do something, mastering nothing. And when I was in school.
Preach on, Mrs. Eckert, yes, I'm doing 6th grade math homework, and I'm like, what is this?
You can't even help it.
And she's not doing well.
Right, and it's just, to me, the repetition needs to be there, the homework needs to be there, a whole new thought process.
Carryover.
The old ways the old ways worked, and I think it really,
100%.
all this new stuff is great in paper and theory, but that's
We're
just
also
me.
seeing an uptick in behaviors, student
Yes.
behaviors, which do not
100%.
help within the classroom. So you have a teacher trying to teach with children not being respectful and the behaviors going. And then when you do try to give a consequence, which I feel for administration, you get pushback from the parents. And how is anyone supposed to learn in that environment? And then you're giving these tests. And of course the kids are failing because they're getting interrupted, not at home with their scrolling, but also within the classroom because every 5 seconds someone's drumming, someone's outbursting, someone's flipping the
100%.
table. So I mean,
It starts
the
to be
community
in
sees that.
kindergarten and works its way up, just walking
Yeah,
in
it's
line,
horrible.
everything. Yeah, but I don't know, it's not just here. It's
Yes.
everywhere.
Do you hear us yelling at those kids?
I
get signs, I get.
And I don't know, I don't wanna blame COVID, but since COVID, 100% of this has changed, the behavior, the respect, and of course, everything with teachers not being respected as much has a lot to do with it too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that it just has been a snowball effect with everything.
Well, when you're walking down the hallway and you say, no running, and they turn and look at you and
Right.
you're like, you can't tell me what to do, and you keep walking, you're like, but I can, and I did, you know, it stinks, so.
So it's just not here, but I think.
Motion to close public comment.
Okay.
Motion.
Got a motion,
Yeah, I
a second,
got
Kane Jesse.
I wanna say something real quick too. Since the beginning of the meeting, since the beginning of the meeting, I'm hearing a lot about home, parents, you know, what do parents do? You know, back in the day when we were all in school, you didn't get away with anything you get away with now. So it's not just about home, and you can't blame the parents, like when you get a pushy parent, instead of bowing down to that parent when the kid is clearly in the wrong, you need to stand your ground. You need to be like, no, this is one down. Kids run in the hallway, right to the principal's office. You don't go to the principal's office, they'll be there to pick you up in class. There's these different things that the discipline is not there no more because people are scared of what the parents are gonna say. And it's not, and everybody just wants an argument nowadays. And that's it, and everybody leaves it at the argument point. There's no point in making or process of mending. It's just an argument and that's it. And everybody's looking pretty hard at homes, but I see a lot of parents trying really hard and have really good kids at home, and when they get to school, they turn into little monsters. That's a fact too.
Alright, motion to move on.
Yeah, thank you,
Good
John.
point, John.
Yeah, that wasn't part of the
Motion,
public
right.
comment.
Promote public comment.
That
We
wasn't
already
part
did
of
that.
public comment.
All right.
Motion to open executive session, I'll go into executive session.
Sorry, but I had to say it wasn't that.
No, it's
Second.
Yep.
Second to go into executive session, Kate's a motion.
Second.
They're all a
Oh, I
second.
thought you were.
Okay, thank you for hanging out. So under communications and public relations, they have a lot of dates and things to do there, but since we're running long, we're not gonna read through them. Just remember Friday is early dismissal. Policy and curriculum, we already went over our NJ SLA scores, so that was great. We do have a reading on the wellness and nutrition, which is a mandated annual review. There's no update on technology. Mr. Bansimer gave a nice update on his workload. Mr. Lassard, do you wanna talk about any of this?
Just technology real quick.
It says no update.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't until.
Sorry. Real quick, we're thinking about long-term planning with our technology. You know, we sat down with Daryl, our tech coordinator, Dave, Janine, myself, and Chris. Just kind of mapping out, like we wanna like map out, like what do we need, like to do it strategically. So that's in the works, just with our infrastructure, our devices, anything technology related. I plan on going to NJ Texpo, like Kate went down to school boards. I plan on going to NJ Texpo at the end of January. It's a great technology conference. You know, Dr. Mealy and our tech coordinator, Mr. Dobkowski, so we're hopeful to get some like good ideas and educational experiences down
Not
there.
on your child's birthday.
No, it's a day
Okay.
after.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yep, so that's basically technology update.
Great.
Thank you.
Mr. Lassard, what do you?
Facilities, so TCU demolition is set, fingers crossed, should be happening during the break in November, during the teachers' convention break, so they'll be here to do that. In here, part of the CUSAC requirement is that annually in the agenda, it lists that we have the budget calendar, that's our internal budget calendar, should have written down what page number it is. Once I get to it.
Page 20.
Page 20, so this is just the process, every year, my process for doing the budget and just kind of the general timeline. I start the budget literally as soon as we approve the next school year's budget, I start the budget for the year after that. And I'm updating it constantly as new numbers come in and new information, whether it's district placements or just how much some of the licensing or items get increased, so I start that throughout the year. July through November, that's information gathering. December, in mid-December, I'll send out a notice to all the staff for any of their major needs that they're anticipating for the upcoming school year, as well as the contractual requirements that there are for notifications for movements on the guide, any major changes there, because there are deadlines in the contract, so it's a reminder to everyone to let us know, so that way there's no thought that we're trying not to remind people of things. Anyhow, as you know that, then January, February, we'll have our official reviews with the board. Budgets are due March 20th, unless changed by statute. And then we have our hearing in late April, and in May we adopt. So, we've been on the board for a few years, we know that, but either way, I'll be keeping updates as we go along, especially when I get new information. The big things that we anticipate we don't find until the budget is just about due is what our state aid is. And right at about the same time is when we find out about health insurance, so those are the two big variables every year, and this year's not gonna be any different, so just letting you know on that. Moving on, come back here. Facilities, long-range facility plan, that's another CUSAC item, that's also in here. These are, I update this every year and just mark, you only see what's incomplete, but this list is probably 3 or 4 times the length, showing just the projects that have been done over the years. So with the LRFP, aside from being a reminder of what projects we want to do, some of these estimates could be updated, but the general purpose of this is that what's listed for incomplete projects is where the state measures what we are allowed to have as our capital reserve. Right now, our capital reserve, pre-audit is $74,000. Now, that's not a lot. But we have been using our capital reserve very regularly over the years to manage getting projects done. We put money into our capital reserve at the end of the year, that's those June board resolutions that we do. We try to make sure we get a little bit of the surplus into there so we can save up for these major projects that the only other way to get them done would be a referendum. So anyhow, that's the significance of the LRFP. And the roof project update, not a lot of update. We are been pretty much perpetually stuck at the 95% threshold with the contractor. They did do the extra piece of the roof back in August. But we're still waiting for the punch list to be done. They get a little bit of work on the ladder. There's some electrical that is still lingering out there. Mr. Bansimer contacted the town because they used some equipment that is designed for interior electrical work, and they used exterior, so there's a tarp over there. That is currently escalating through the town inspectors, and now that we got them involved, the electrician is being responsive, so a little bit of trouble with the contractor, but
Do we not pay out until we get a roof warranty? Close out that?
Yeah, when we close out, we'll have a warranty, so we're holding at least $47,000 over there, so it's not cheap. You know, it's not just
Yeah.
pocket change,
Yeah.
but for some reason, either they're just really busy or they don't like
Okay.
coming up here. The architects are also helping us with that, but it's a little frustrating, or it's very frustrating.
How come we don't use anybody local? Why do we always have to hire out?
Well, it's a public
Lowest
bid,
responsible
yeah.
bidder.
Public bid,
It's a
they have to
public bid
be,
for
they have to be
available.
registered public works contractors and have the thresholds for certain types of projects or approvals for certain types, but it's just a public bid, so. We usually get 6 to 8 contractors that ask for the documents, and generally, depending on the project, how big it's anticipated, we usually get 3 to 4 respondents. In this case, we had 2 responses for that roof bid, which was 2 years ago, the original bid. And that's all I have.
Okay, so we had a fire drill on October 2nd, school security drill on October 3rd, bus evacuation drill also, with all those dates. So now we're gonna move on to the consent agenda, which is, be it resolved that the Frankfurt Township Board of Education accept the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the above identified regular agenda items numbered 2025-1027-03 through 2025-1027-31. Motion,
Motion.
second.
Second.
Kate Adam.
Yes.
Jamie Armando.
Yes.
Chris Dexter.
Abstain from 3, yes, and everything else.
Charlene Molnar.
Abstain from 3, yes, and everything else.
Chelsea Soules not here. John Tiger.
I'm gonna abstain from 3, no to 8, and yes on the others.
Jesse Vaughn.
Yes, I'll.
Mandy Joust is a yes. Motion to open public comment.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Anyone with a comment? Mrs. Eckert.
Just a question on the building use request. I know years ago it was free, and I know you guys at one of the meetings said you were gonna start charging. What are the different classes? Like I see here, class 2, is that the youth, the basketball, and then the 4-H, are they paying or?
So class 5, right, is the group that has nothing to do with the school where there's like a charge, right? So if it's not like a recreation or basketball or
Like if it's a knitting club.
right. It's like Blue Ridge Fire Squad's Tricky Tray,
It
they
also
wanna have here,
depends.
it has nothing to do with the kids, yeah.
So these that are here, like when you write rec group for basketball, class 2, they're not paying?
Correct.
Okay, and then public speaking for 4-H.
But if they collect a payment on a ticket, they pay.
Then that's,
Right.
that, so anybody collecting would be class 5.
An admission, if you collect
Okay,
an
so anybody, anything less than 5 on here is not paying anything?
Correct.
Okay,
I can get you one of those forms so you can see it.
alright, yeah, that's fine, thank you, I appreciate it, just, cause I knew you had talked about it one
Sure.
time. Thanks.
Motion to close public comment.
Motion. Second.
Second, thank you. Complete your annual governance training, these are the items of the good of the order. The next meeting is November 24th, Mr. Sylvester will not be here. We did receive a letter from
No, she's reading.
First Birthday. He was trying to schedule the community day committee on that day, I'm like, isn't that your son's birthday, first birthday? And he was like, oh, yeah.
It's really impressive.
Charlene, July 11th. We got a nice correspondence from Sharon, who did want to acknowledge the support she felt during her hard time, especially Ronnie DeFranco, who gave up some of her sick days for Sharon, and for Mr. Lassard for being so accommodating during her difficult period. So it's a very nice letter written to the board, so just want to acknowledge that. Also, you know, not promoting the PTA, but support the PTA. We have Tricky Tray baskets coming up. The Tricky Tray is on November 15th. So if your class has a basket, your grade has a basket, you can provide a basket, a donation, or simply come to the event. That would be wonderful. Anybody else have good of the order items?
I have one more thing to add, I completely forgot. When I went to workshop, I brought you guys all a nice souvenir. I brought
You're
everybody
always
a
thinking
workshop.
of others.
A workshop bag.
Thank you.
So you guys all get a nice little bag so that you can.
Thank you, Kate.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I wanna also thank Chris publicly, cause he really helped me like through the process of going and knowing the best days to go and just giving me little tidbits of going to Atlantic City by myself, which was a little scary at first. But I
Well, thank you for going and thank you for being our
Yeah, I
delegate to
got one
these.
for you.
I just had a
think I
quick
have enough for you
question
guys.
about.
All right, and
Canadian.
so we still have a good of the order. Jesse wants to bring up something about the school uniforms.
With the boys' basketball uniforms, when would we have to order them by, do you think, for them to?
What does your quote say?
I would say if you want
Because we
them
would have
for the
to-
season,
Yeah, for this season,
yeah, it would have to be within 2 weeks.
would that be possible to do?
We don't have one.
If what if I get donations in the next
Mr.
2 weeks?
Lassard's gonna look into to see if somebody can sponsor them. It may be that the sponsor isn't allowed to be labeled on the jersey. That's
Doesn't,
High Point,
so
that's
you
what happens at High Point, but we'll see at a middle school level if that's what.
Or maybe like a sign somewhere, if not maybe on the jerseys themselves, perhaps.
Oh yeah, like High Point football, they put the signs out on the
Yeah.
field.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
Yeah, flags.
Jamie has a cricket.
I did.
I think they make like a team shirt with all the company names that donated, you
Yeah.
know, like a plain old t-shirt that they give to the kids.
And then also, so Jesse, if you can get a sponsor, Mr. Lassard's gonna check into it, but we think that hopefully we could make something happen.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome. You're welcome. Man, I had one other thing with the PTA, now I forgot. Oh, so also during Community Day, I think they're still working out the details, but we're looking at putting a mural up in the middle school wall of little tiles that maybe the children in the school could color, decorate somehow to make a mural up of all things that happen around the community. So even like the scarecrows, what else happens in
Christmas, tree lighting.
tree lighting, like, and things with the school, traditions in the school as well. So they are looking at that, so the PTA keep an eye out for updates on that and how that will be. But the unveiling of that mural would happen during Community Day. Community Day also will be voted on because it will be a half day.
Way to get through that.
We'll be
Yeah, it hasn't been voted on, it's not on the calendar, but with the setup needed for community. With the setup
Motion
needed
to
for
close
Community
the
Day
meeting.
and strangers on
seconded.
property, it has to be.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Eckert.
Second.
Motion to adjourn, they've already
Made the
adjourned,
motion.
look at this.